Hey, it's Frankie J. What's going on, peeps? Van life, here in Sierra Nevada, right? Yeah, I'm in the Sierras, the Eastern Sierras. So I thought I'd make a video, as people say, and drop some knowledge on you. So I was up in the Sierras last week, and I have an E250 Econoline van, 2005. So I was traveling. I spent the whole week in Sierra Nevada. I just came out from Los Angeles last week. Well, yeah, last week, not this week. St. Patty's Day prior week. So, and then I've already gone to Colorado and back. So that was probably 4,000 miles, maybe more, up and back. Yeah, about 4,000 miles, because Park City had to be at least. So, and then I came from back east, and just so get to the point is that I had a brake problem. So I wanted to share with you with brake issues on this van life and van dwelling, and when you have a brake problem. How about that? Because people share a lot of information about when they have breakdowns. So I had a breakdown. I didn't break down, but I knew the problem was occurring, but it just kind of blew up in my face, and I needed to do the brake situation. I needed brakes. It was pretty bad. It was grinding. So I'm a diagnosed mechanic. I'm actually a chef and a house builder. I could do those things fairly well. But I can diagnose the vehicle, but I can't always fix the problem. So, and if you don't have the tools and you're on the road, you got to find either a chain that's going to give you a fairly good deal, and hopefully the problem isn't too bad. My problem was extremely bad. I was at a level 12. I didn't just need, on the brake system, I just didn't need, it was a disc brake system. I already had the fronts done. I had the front end done in Rhode Island, and I had, as they call it, shade mechanics, or the barrio mechanics. Those are the best mechanics to go to, because they're only going to charge you like $80 an hour, between 75 and $80 an hour for labor. And then you're going to get into the hundreds. Majority of upper scale mechanics and upper automotive shops are charging you now, it depends where you are in the country, at least $105, $150, actually $115 an hour to $145 an hour just for labor. So that's a big chunk. You think about it, 2 hours of labor to do brakes, that's $300 almost. Then the pots are another $300 or $400, depending on your level of brake issues, or alternator, battery, transmission, fuel pump. It depends what breaks down in your truck, how new your truck is, how old your truck is. I say a lot. So I'm thinking, and so the older the vans and the trucks, the easier to fix. The parts are easier, the parts are less expensive. There's not so much ripping it apart, and these high-tech, when you go travel in the high-tech trucks, they're expensive to fix, and the bigger the truck, the bigger the equipment, the bigger the parts, more expensive, so if it's older, and it's very hard to fix. I mean, you got to be pretty mechanically inclined. You got to have the jack equipment, you got to have the tools, you got to have usually another person helping you. So again, my recommendation is find either a local shop, a barrio shop. Every town has a barrio, or someone that works out of their own personal garage, not personal, but like a home garage, not some big fancy mechanics, because those guys are going to rip you off, and they're going to get you. Anybody can rip you off. I mean, that's a fact. Anybody can rip you off. But I always ask for the parts. I want to see the parts, and I'm usually there when they're taking it apart and looking at the problem. And also, do your knowledge, do your research, No, that's what I do. Go to AutoZone, go to O'Reilly's, go to Napa, go to, and say how much these parts cost, because they're going to mock the parts up, whoever's doing it. Or some people will, like the lower mechanics, they won't overcharge you on the parts. They make a couple of bucks off you, but they won't add on 10% or, so if it's $65, they may add on a $20 each part, an extra $20 or more. So especially when you're on the road and you're not somewhere, flat could cost you, a tire could cost you, a used tire could cost you $75, with the tire's $25, and then they charge you $30 to put it on, or whatever. Could cost you $150, $100 for the tire, and they charge you $40 to put it on. Whatever it is, everyone's always trying to nickel and dime you. So that's something to be aware of. Maintenance is important. Have your brakes checked. Midas, BF Goodwrench, Firestone. I find Firestone's pretty good. BF Goodwrench, they're good, but you got to be careful. Midas, if it's independently owned, it's good. And because once they have more than 2 or 3 locations, they're trying to make money. I've been off and on with Midas in Los Angeles and around the country in New England. They've been pretty good, pretty honest. They had a bad rap years ago. Everybody is cautious of that. Like I said, but I try to go to independent owners, smaller garages, not so much the chain, but the chains are like Walmart, so you can get a good deal because they do massive cars, where independent dealers, they may not have that much work, so they may charge you a little more. But they also quality, quantity, quality. So it's a slippery slope when anything happens in the trucks and the vehicles that you're living in, and they don't like to fix things, patch things up. They don't like to do that anymore. When I grew up back in the 80s and the 90s, they would patch stuff up, and the 70s, 80s, and 90s, early 90s, you could fix these cars very easily, but now they're so complex, new vehicles. So I had brake calipers and brake pads done, the whole shkabil on the rear of my truck, and I got a super deal. The dude did it for me for a super deal. It just cost me around almost, it cost me about $460 actually. So almost $500, whatever you want to look at it, however up or down, $450. Cost me, and that's a super deal because I called around. A lot of places wanted $700-800 or more. Between $700 and $800, mostly on the $800 mark, because the cost, the hourly labor was well into the $100 mark. They only charged me $80 an hour for labor, which was a great deal. He charged me for 2.5 hours worth of labor because, when the parts in my shit was at 12, it was rusted and rotted and stuck, and it was like my brakes, my shocks. I had my shocks done, rear shocks done a couple of months ago, and they were locked on there. We tried to do it ourselves, me and my buddy, but we couldn't get them off. We needed the jack, the lift, and we needed the impact wrench, which is a lot of times when your truck is rusted out. My truck's a New England truck, so it was in the snow for the last, 10 years or whatever, more than that. It's a 2005, so 13 years it's rusting out. So, but I just, so that's, I'm kind of like just giving you a lot of information, but diagnose, observe, go when you get your oil change, have them rotate the tires, look at the brakes so you can just change the pads cheap, and keep paperwork so it's done. You can show them, say, listen, I need this. And if you have something break, you don't need the whole shebang, Maintenance is really important, changing your oil all the time, air filter, because then you get a lot of longevity out of your vehicle and less breakage down, good gas mileage. And, I'm a little, to be honest, I get a little lazy because I'm cheap with that, and I try to, go to the end. I've been pretty lucky with this vehicle. I put almost 80,000 miles on it since I bought it. My truck had 182. I bought it April, May, March 2014, and I put traveling back and forth across the country, Colorado, Salt Lake City, all over California, New York, Rhode Island. I put 80,000 miles on my truck, and a couple of fuel pumps, alternators, tires, brake jobs, front end, shocks now. So, you know, just fairly maintenance when a truck is this old, but it's done me right. It's a little lagging on the energy, you know, the oomph, because it's getting old. You know, I'm pushing 300,000 miles almost. So, yeah, I got actually 250, 260. I got a while to go, 40,000 miles before I hit 300. So I'm at 250, 260. Yeah, I'm up at 260. So I'm really excited to share this video with you, share some information. Like I said, I'm out here chilling right here in the Sierra Nevadas. It's gorgeous out. I love van life. And just so you know, I love van life. You do the laundry at the laundromat, you cook, you go out to eat, your freedom, liberation, you get up and go wherever you want. If you need to live in an apartment, go rent a room or get a hotel or by the month or get a hostel. If you need a hot shower, I belong to the 24-hour fitness and LA Fitness if you need to do both. I love van life. It does get rough. I'm older. I'm 50, and I'm a little beat up. So, you know, it's easier when you're younger. And also, if you spend a lot of time in cold weather, it's tough. So, in that case, I'm a van life dweller. I'm going to get a bigger van next year, probably a stand-up van, and trick that out so you can have more of an apartment on wheels, which makes life easier, a little more expensive. But you know what? Not as expensive as paying $1,000 in rent every month for just a bedroom and living with 2-3 other people, you know. So I'm a fan of van life. I torn between the big city and Mother Nature and traveling, but got to work on saving that money so I can get out and do it full time in my older age when I retire. Or not retire, but you know what I'm saying, just work less, because I'm going to work my whole life, and I am not a rich guy. So I just want to share that with you about maintenance, van life, traveling, looking out for yourself and not getting burned because it's stressful. You bring the truck in, it costs hundreds of dollars just to get it diagnosed, a couple of hundred, and you don't know what's going to happen with that. So, and also to inspire you and give you lots of energy about influence you that van life is awesome. It's not a, you know, it's people make a big deal out of it. It's awesome. It's a great lifestyle. And it's liberation. You don't have all these bills, especially if you're debt-free. I'm pretty much debt-free. And you get to see so many great places. And there's always somewhere to go and something to do. And meet people that love your rig. And hanging out with people. Once you get out of the big city, they love this. They love it. They're inspired. Young, old, all kind of people. Men, women. It's amazing. So I'm a van lifer for life. Van dweller. I'm Frankie Vaughn. Check me out. Woo! Subscribe, and I'll subscribe, and we'll rock it on and share more experiences and strength and hope about van life and getting off the grid and beating the man. Woo! Yeah. Peace on out, Baba. It's a beautiful day out here. It's gonna snow. I love the wilderness. It's gonna snow tonight, so we're excited. 10 inches, hopefully. Fresh pow pow. Hydrate, moisturize, eat your vegetables, love your mama, call your daddy, build a bridge of friendship. Be kind, rewind, do something for someone in distress. We are the people, of the people, for the people, by the people. We are the solution, not the problem. I'm out of here.